Hi, and welcome to another Forest Service web tutorial. My name is Mariana Dobre, and I'm a research scientist at University of Idaho, working on the development side of WEPPcloud. In this video, we'll specifically talk about the WEPPcloud UNdisturbed interface, mainly about how to start the model run and some of the interface options. Now I will go ahead and click on Start Disturbed Run to open a new project. This project has a unique URL, which, if you're logged into your account, will store the project and all the input and output files automatically. If you want to remember what model run this is, then you can assign a name to your project. For example, you can name the project My Watershed Undisturbed, and then click Set Name. Now, if you go back to your runs, this watershed with its unique URL will be saved in your runs. Some other options you have when accessing the interface are forking or duplicating a model run, downloading the run, accessing the Power User panel, and accessing the Unitizer control. Forking a watershed is a useful option when you want to compare two identical runs with different management scenarios. For example, if you want to see how much a wildfire will increase sediment yield compared to a baseline or undisturbed condition for each hill slope, you would first run the wildfire scenario, in which case you see this, this is a wildfire scenario because we're using a soil burn severity map in the background, and then fork or duplicate the run, remove the soil burn severity map, rebuild the managements and the soils, and then rerun WEPPcloud. This will generate model results with baseline conditions, which you can then compare to the results from the wildfire scenario. So this option to duplicate a watershed can be very useful when you want to compare model results from multiple management scenarios. I'll show you how to do this in more details in another video. The next option is the download option. When you click on this option, another window will open and the interface will prepare all the files for download. Depending on the size of your watershed, this action might take a while to complete. Then we have the Power User panel. The NoDB files on the left contain specific information on user selections and the data that is extracted from the specific databases. You might not find these options useful unless you really want to dig more into the model, in which case you'll find these files self-explanatory. But what you will find useful are the options on the right. Specifically, at the top, we have all the model input files in the runs folder and all the model output files in the output folder. You don't need to open these files to check the model results, as we're summarizing the information for you in the web results section on the main page. But if you're familiar with the web model, you'll find these files familiar and many times useful, as the model will generate way more information than we are summarizing. Also, when you are downloading a project, these are the files that you will actually download. We'll talk more about these files in the video on how to interpret the results. In commands, we have an option to clear locks. If you're running the interface and you're trying to build the soils before the managements have completed building, or if you are giving the model a command while it's processing another command, you might encounter an error with the instruction to clear locks. What happens is the interface is locking a specific folder while it's writing in it. So if you're trying to write in that folder with another command, then the interface will produce this error. In this case, come back to this page and clear the locks and then perform the commands again. The Modify Disturbed Parameters is an option that allows users to change some of the soil default properties. When you open this page, you'll see a list of all the soil properties that you could actually change in the model by disturbance and texture. The soil properties are albedo, fraction of soil percent saturation, interreal erodibility, real erodibility, critical shear, effective hydraulic conductivity, percent sand, percent clay, percent organic matter, cation exchange capacity, percent rock, and soil thickness. All these changes are done for the first soil layer only. This is relatively a new feature in the model, and we don't recommend you to use it yet, since we don't have specific recommendations for what values to use instead of the provided default values. These parameters are usually difficult to measure in the field, and most users won't have specific values to enter here. We made this option available for more advanced users that do have the extra measurements. Unitizer control allows you to quickly switch between Standard International System of Units, or SI, and English units. You can make these changes at any time on any page that displays units. Other options on the interface are read-only, This option is useful when you're sharing the link with another colleague. This prevents the other person from making changes to your run without your knowledge. Be careful though that if you click on this option before you've finished your run, you will not be able to make any other selections to the model or to the run. So make sure you keep this box unchecked until you are ready to share it. You will be able to deselect the read-only option as long as you're logged into your account. If you're running the watershed from your account, you won't be able to share it with other people unless you make the project public. If you're sharing your watershed with a colleague, make sure you click this option to make the run public. Otherwise, this option is only visible in your account. These are the main options on the top banner. If you scroll all the way down, you'll find an option to add another collaborator to your project. This will allow both of you to share and access the run from your own accounts. This wraps up the intro to WEPPcloud. In the next videos, we'll talk about running the interface for wildfire conditions and about the soil burn severity maps.